Thank you for joining us for the Wichita Real Producers Beyond the Pages podcast. We are here with two very special guests. We are in the Trussell Media Studio, and we actually have the man, Troy Trussell of Trussell Media.
I am here.
And he's going to be on this side of the camera and the microphone today because he is one of our preferred partners. So if you have any branding needs or any kind of videography needs or any management of, I would say, YouTube channels, this is your dude. And then we also have Realtor Ashley Sears here, who happens to be Troy's sister. So a really special podcast we've got going on today. Today's topic will be about siblings, videos, real estate, and a little bit of everything in between. So let's just kick that off. Troy, on that note, tell us a little bit about yourself and why you invited your sister out of the 2,400 realtors in Wichita.
Yeah. So my wife and I, since 2011, we moved up to Wichita from Louisiana. And since we moved to Wichita from Louisiana, we actually moved 6 times after that. So in 11 years, we've moved 7 times.
That's a lot of packing experience you have.
That's a lot. We are packing pros. So if you need any packing tips, we can help you out. We actually did a YouTube video on our second to last move of our 2-day packing and moving.
That's smart. Yeah, I bet you've got it refined.
Yeah, we've got it down to a science. But the last 2 moves that we did were both in 2021. We moved in March of that year, sold a house, bought a house, moved, and then in August that year we sold a house and bought a new house and moved again.
Okay.
So in those 2 moves, Ashley had become a realtor, I think, in 2020.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. August of 2020.
Yeah. So she was a new realtor, and I was like, well, yeah, I'm definitely going to use my sister.
Of course. Smart brother.
To help me out. And she helped us with both of those moves, and it was a fantastic experience.
I love that. So now whenever he calls, there's a pretty good chance he's going to talk about moving.
Yes. He'll call and I think, oh, are they going to move again?
Yeah.
Where are they going now?
Yeah, it is kind of a running joke in the family. And her husband, my brother-in-law, he's like, dude, I helped you move twice. Like, I'm done.
Yeah. No, you can't pay people with pizza and beer anymore.
Right.
Like, I mean,
exactly.
at this stage in life, you need to hire, 2 men in a truck.
You got to hire the real people. And so we found a company for our last, I think 3 or 4 moves. We hired people to come in and, move the big stuff. And yeah, it's worked out well.
It's very worth it. All right. So Ashley, tell us a little bit about your story. Troy just mentioned that you got into real estate in August of 2020. Heck of a time to get into real estate.
Yes, it was kind of wild.
Right. So just tell us a little bit about your background, how you ended up in Wichita, and why you went down this real estate route.
Okay. That's a long story. Let me shorten it. My education is in building construction and design. And so that's where my love of it started. Many years ago. We moved to Wichita in 2007 with my husband's job, and I stayed home with my kids for a while. I didn't go back to the office, and the longer I stayed home, the more I enjoyed it. But when the last one went to kindergarten, I thought, okay, now I have some time. I need to do something, but I still wanted to be available for them.
Of course.
So I began to work for a friend who does real estate photography. So I got into the photography part first.
I'm seeing a theme here.
Yes. Yes. Which combined my love for design and construction kind of, but I got to just see a different side of it.
Yeah.
In the residential part. And so I started there, but over the course of about 4 years, I worked with so many kind realtors and just learned a lot in those 4 years about real estate and how it moves and how people move. And so I just thought, why not? Let's jump in and learn this part and do more. So that's kind of why I thought I'm going to take these classes and get my license. And I thought it would be a little bit slower start, but because of the real estate market that year, and then in 2021, I jumped in with both feet. So it's been a great experience, and I've loved it. Yes.
Yeah, that is cool. So did you guys move here because Ashley moved here?
Not 100%, but it was, Wichita was definitely on the radar because they lived here. I was working at a design firm or advertising agency back in Shreveport. Yeah, I worked there since I graduated, and it had been 8 years. And I was just kind of getting tired of the game, right? Because it's a very, we need stuff designed and produced yesterday, right? It's just kind of the nature of the beast in that market. And so I was kind of tired of working in that realm. And so I started putting out resumes to different cities, and Wichita was the one city that people were saying, yeah, if you do move here, we'll interview you. And so and them being here, those are basically the two reasons why we chose Wichita.
That
My
is
wife,
awesome.
if she'd have had her way, we'd have moved to Dallas. But but
That's
yeah.
okay. Well, hopefully she's happy here because there's a lot of good people. There's a lot of good business.
Yeah,
That's
we love it
interesting.
here. So.
Okay. All right. So Troy, talk to us a little bit about your industry. What does a typical day look like for you in video production?
Yeah. So we are here in the Trussell Media Studios. So a typical day for me is take kids to school. I have the morning drop off for one of them at least. And then I come to the studio, come in here and do some admin work on the computer. If I have a video shoot, I'll come in and pack up the gear that I need and go to the video shoot. We do a lot of shoots on location. We also do shoots here in the studio. So if we don't have video shoots, we're either working on video editing for our clients, podcasts like these, or creating social media content for our business itself. So we do a lot of that in here, and especially during the week, I try to sneak out and go to at least 2 local food places and get some good food to eat.
Well, tell us a little bit about that. People might not know that part about you.
Yeah, so I love food and I love to eat. And one of the things that when I moved up here from Louisiana, I really missed Louisiana food and culture and all of that, because there's really not a lot of that culture up here in the Midwest.
Pretty bland.
Yeah, so I started seeking out that food, and one way I thought to do that was to start a YouTube channel, and we started, me and another friend of mine, Darren Hackney, he's a photographer, but we started eating tacos, and we just started filming it, and we would go to local taco joints, and then it just kind of evolved from there, and now we have a full-blown YouTube channel where we...
And go ahead and shout that out. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, it's called Live Local.
Yes.
And we go try just different food around the Wichita area. And in doing that, we found some really great places to eat. There's all kinds of food cultures here from all walks of life. I mean, if you seek it, you will find it.
That is true.
But
going to the Live Local food vlog on YouTube, right?
Yeah, YouTube. Just search Live Local and it'll pop up.
And you guys like to just eat a bunch of hot sauces, and that's just a whole different topic.
Yes, we do.
But this is such a man thing. Like, women would never get together and be like, let's video ourselves eating food.
No, never.
You won't see that. Probably won't see that. Okay. What is the craziest like videography or podcast or customer client story that you can recall without throwing people under the bus?
Yeah. So I get asked this a lot.
Yeah, it's got to be interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, the things that are on the B-roll that people never see have got to be great.
Yeah. Well, and one thing that comes to mind every time I get asked this is when we were filming a wedding once. It was early in my career, so I was pretty immature about the whole wedding scene. And there was, all the bridesmaids came up and they were standing in line up there in the front, and one of them was pregnant, like due tomorrow.
Okay.
She looked that way. And so about halfway in to the ceremony, she starts wobbling, right?
And you're getting this on video and you're seeing this as well.
And I'm up in the balcony in the back. And at that time, I had 2 other guys I worked with, and they were on each side of the church filming from the side. Okay. And I was up in the balcony, and I was seeing this whole thing like unfold. And so as she starts falling, because she's like locked her knees, or just by being pregnant, she just can't stand there as long as she had to. She starts falling over, and a guy about 3 rows back almost caught her because he jumped up and ran up and tried to catch her. And it ended up being her husband. He was watching her like a hawk. And so, she fell down and knocked over 3 bridesmaids behind her. No. So it was kind of like the domino effect. And
you're getting all of this on video.
and I'm
What a
getting it
wreck.
all on video. And of course, they stopped the ceremony. The husband's down there checking on her, and I think there was a doctor there. They got her off to the side, and it was about a 15 to 20 minute ordeal with her. And then once they got her taken care of, they resumed the ceremony.
Oh my gosh.
Well, while they were taking care of her, I had to excuse myself because I couldn't stop laughing. So Ashley knows this about me. Like if I see somebody fall down or hurt themselves, like all those videos, that you can
Yes, all
scroll
those
through and
fails.
see,
Yes.
those crack me up.
Yeah.
Like, I can't.
No, I have the same inappropriate response.
Yes.
It's like a protective thing. Is to laugh at inappropriate things. Yes.
Yeah, it's like I feel so bad for them, and I just have to laugh. So that happened to me. So I had to excuse myself and did a
So the
foyer.
video couldn't hear you laughing.
Right. So I just left it rolling and had to go outside and laugh.
And so did you create like a fun little B-roll for them of just that? And then you had to, of course, edit that out, and it was all beautiful.
I edited all of it out for them because they wanted it out, you know.
Of course.
You know, I've had some clients that, you know, I've had other people pass out in weddings because I've seen it all with weddings.
I guess so. Yeah, I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah, I've shot him for like 18 years. But I had another guy fall. He just collapsed, just boom, and fell on his head on a rock. So he had like blood coming down his face, and he like got back up there and was like, "I'm
What
gonna
a
finish
trooper!"
this out."
Yeah, he
you
had a
know?
responsibility. He takes that very seriously. Oh, that's funny. Okay, those are good. And everything was fine with her, right? It was a happy ending. Everything was fine.
Yeah, it's happy ending.
She was just very pregnant.
She was just very pregnant and couldn't stand up there.
Oh, that is funny. Okay, that's good. Yeah. You know, you could even make like a YouTube channel of just the funny B-rolls of like all the stuff you've captured in the last 2 decades.
I could. Now, there was this one time, there was a toast by the brother of the groom, right? So he was the best man. Well, he went off like a stand-up comedian, and it was hilarious. He had the whole room just rolling and laughing.
That's awesome. Yeah, those are either phenomenal, like very mediocre, or like a complete train wreck, and you're embarrassed for everybody.
Right. And he was hilarious. And I asked the groom, like, "Hey, can I post this? Because this is really good." He's like, "Oh yeah, go ahead. I don't think he'll mind." About a week later, he's like, he texted me, "Can you take that down, or can you make that private? Because my brother's like, it's really hilarious, but he's just embarrassed."
Oh.
So I did. I deleted it. Took it down. But it was hilarious. I think he just got embarrassed because he's drinking a little bit.
Well,
you know,
sounds like he could be a comedian on part-time.
He could. And I ended up shooting his wedding too a couple years later, so it was all fine. But
that's good. I like that. Those are good stories. Okay, very good. What is an unusual or an absurd habit that you have?
This is the one question.
This is always a fun way to get to know somebody.
Yeah, I couldn't come up with anything.
Okay, that's okay. That's all right.
I don't know.
Because maybe you think it's just so normal. Maybe if I asked your wife or your sister, we might, I mean, for me, from what I know about you, it's just eating a ridiculous amount of hot sauce.
Yeah,
I feel like that's pretty absurd.
I do like hot sauce.
Yeah. Okay, we'll go with that then. Okay.
We'll take that.
Okay.
One. Yeah.
And what is this is your time to give that elevator spiel, right? Like, what do you want our Wichita real estate community to know about you and your business, and how to use you, or when to use you, or when not to use you? Yeah.
So our business has kind of shifted since 2020, since all that happened. We still film weddings. That's not our main source of revenue, right? So we've been, for the past 3 years, been focusing more on business to business. So we help out businesses, realtors, anybody in that realm. If they need informational videos on their website, we can create those for them.
Which almost every business does, because video is king now.
Right. Yeah. And 2020 really proved that.
Yep.
That video is king, and it's here to stay. And so what we help a lot of businesses do is we do client testimonials for businesses. So we all love Google reviews, right? And if you have a business, especially a storefront, you want those good reviews on how good your service is or how good your product is. But what better way to do it than to have the people that have used you and love you talk about it on camera? So that's
right.
That's one thing we do. We do that for realtors.
Which is just priceless, right? I mean, you can never argue somebody's testimony, but then when it's done really well and professionally, it's just even more impactful.
Right. So we do that. We also do social media content for people, and just any message that they want to get out through video, we can do it for them. So,
Yep. But not listing videos, not drone
Yes.
footage of homes.
Yes.
That is not what you call Troy for. You can call a million other people in town that do
I
that.
have a lot
Signature
of
real estate. That's a good one.
Yeah,
But
I've got some good references.
Yes.
If you need real estate listing videos, we just don't have the means to do that anymore.
okay.
So,
Good to know. All right. All right, Miss Ashley.
Yes.
All right. So what does a typical day look like for you in real estate or just in life, I guess?
Real estate, some days I still do real estate photography. So,
Okay.
depending on if I have appointments that day or not, I will put that equipment in the car, kind of like Troy said, get my equipment ready and have it ready. Today, for instance, I have 2 later today, so my equipment
Nice.
is with me. But in between, I'll stop in our office and maybe check, just pull up MLS and see what's going on. I have clients that I've saved searches for that I get up and look at first thing in the morning to see if anything's new.
That's such a good realtor. I love it.
Well, I work for them. I want them to find what they want. And I want,
Things
I
change
have,
daily.
yes, I have one investor who's always looking for new things. So I want to find him what he wants as well. So just get up and kind of look at what's going on. My kids all go to school. Well, the 2 that are still at home still go to school at like 7 a.m. So, so they're gone early. So I have some early morning time. I can do those things. So after I get that done, I'll either stop in the office for a meeting or to visit with somebody, or maybe go to a listing appointment, and then shoot a few houses. I should say photograph a few houses.
Yes.
Let's use the right terms. Photograph a few houses during the day, and then pick up my middle schooler at the end of the day. So
Yeah. I love that.
yeah,
It does. It still provides a lot of flexibility.
it does. It really does. And it's good. I can really be there for my girls when they get home from school. So that's important to me. So
Yes.
I'm glad to be able to do that.
And I like that you probably have an eye that some realtors might not have, right? Because you're looking at it from that artistic perspective with the, the photography and seeing lines and things that most of us, when we walk in a house, might not, remember to look up or look around or look at the bigger picture.
Some of the details are fun for me
Yeah.
because I kind of know I know how it stands up, or I know how, they've created those details around the structure. And so
Yeah.
that's kind of cool for me.
Well, and then also I think another neat thing that would set you apart from another realtor is that you've been in a lot of houses, yes, as a real estate agent, but also as that side as the photographer. And I think
Yes.
the more houses that an agent is in, the more they get to know, and especially you said with your construction or building background, like you just have all this ancillary information and experience that really helps, I bet, when you're helping your clients make a decision.
Yes, I do. I can see some things that others may not be able to see because of that design experience. So that's a cool in. I enjoy that a lot.
So tell us a little bit about that. Like, what does that mean exactly? What does your design or construction experience consist of?
Well, I really loved college, so I stayed a very long time. I ended up
That's
with
okay.
2 degrees.
8 years.
Clearly, Troy, that does not sound like your cup of tea. I'm kind of picking up a vibe right now.
Well, that's a funny story.
That is a funny story.
Okay, let's hear that.
We both went to Louisiana Tech. So she started when she was a freshman in college. I was a freshman in high school.
Okay.
Well, when I was a freshman in college, she was
Still in college.
Still there.
I was
So you got to be in college together.
Yeah,
That's
so we
good.
did.
We did.
All 4 years. And then, because she went 8, and then we graduated together.
Oh my gosh, how
And
cute.
It was
I
fun.
wanted to go 5 years because I was having a good time. But my dad was like, hey,
No, I'm done.
Ashley's graduating and she's getting married next year. So you need to graduate or you can pay for your own 5th year.
And that is how we finished
And I
college.
was like, all right,
Yes.
I'll finish
Yes,
college
I'll be
this
done
year.
here.
So.
That is cute. So then did you have a combined graduation party?
No, but we
No.
they made her walk again. Because
They did.
Because
I
she
had
Well, you
to
graduated.
deserve to, though. I mean, you would deserve to.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
graduated in, I don't remember what year, but the first year it was a 5-year degree. So the first degree, and then in architecture is what it was.
Okay.
And then my second one, I really enjoyed math more. And so I ended
God
up with
bless
a
you.
civil engineering
Right.
degree, which I
We all need those nerds in our life, though.
That's
I
right.
love that.
I love it. So I kind of combined the two and ended up working in structural engineering. So
Wow.
that's what I did, and I loved it. I really did love it. But when we moved here, I just thought I need to stay home with my kids for a little while, be the constant in their lives for a little bit, and so I did. And then I didn't want to go back to that office job and not be available for them after school. And
Sure.
so that's kind of why I turned to.
So then that's another layer that's adding to your experience, right? Structural engineers. Like we need more structural engineers in our real estate community in Wichita. A lot of them are the old guys that are just, retiring or about to retire, and they're very few and far between. So you never know. I mean, you've got options, sister.
I do. I like where I am though.
Yes, I bet you do. I bet. So outside of work, what are you doing with most of your time? I know you've got some kiddos, but it sounds like you do keep yourself busy with just not only the real estate, but the real estate photography. But what are you doing with your time?
I volunteer with my kids a lot, wherever they are. I volunteer in the organizations that they're in. I have 2 that are in band, so I volunteer with their band. And then I have one that's in theater and enjoys that. So I volunteer at her theater group. So you can usually find me volunteering with them. I do love to cook, so I cook quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And what's her cooking? What do you rate that, Mr.
Fantastic.
Live local?
Fantastic. She's always in charge of Thanksgiving and Christmas dinners. We'll bring sides and stuff. But,
Yeah.
But
but don't sell yourself short. You're a good cook too.
well, thank you.
You are. You are.
I don't mind
That
it
is
either.
cool.
I cook at our house most of the time.
Good.
And my wife cooks occasionally, but if we're doing some cooking, it's usually me. So,
Good. As you should. I mean, you have a food vlog.
I mean, I love the
It
food.
would be weird if you didn't cook.
That's right.
Okay, I like that. How would you describe the market now, Ashley? I mean, you came in at this time where there was a lot of craziness. It was a market unlike what we've really ever seen before. There was a lot of low-hanging fruit.
Yes.
We're starting to experience a little bit of a shift or a correction, but what is it from your perspective?
Well, I did jump in kind of a crazy time. So I asked a lot of questions of my mentors and, what does this historically, what has this looked like? And so right now, I think I would just describe it as steady because historically, this time of year is pretty low volume,
Right.
people don't want to move in the middle of winter
So
unless
cold,
they
yeah.
have to, especially we're coming off holidays and a lot of people don't want to move in the middle of holidays either. So I would say, compared to history and the things I've looked at and the people I've talked to, it's pretty steady right now. There's not a ton going on, but there is enough. I mean, it's not crazy like last year,
Right.
But I don't think we'll see that anytime in the near future. I think
hope
it's
we
leveling
don't.
out.
Yes.
I think it's leveling out, which is not a bad thing.
That's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
No, I mean, the strong will survive, and that's exactly what we need. And this is the season where, as the temperatures start to rise a little bit, the activity is going to rise a little bit as well. So
absolutely.
this is kind of the lull that people can educate themselves, get into other things, arm themselves with education and knowledge and experience, and be ready for the good times ahead.
Yes.
Okay, I like that. What purchase of $100 or less has just been massively just beneficial to you, whether that's kid stuff or photo equipment or anything like that? Anything come to mind for you?
Well, I did. I would say, back to my love of cooking, my knife.
Okay.
I would say if you're going to cook, if you're going to enjoy cooking, you need a really good knife.
Okay. And tell us about this knife.
I second
Well,
that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because
You
you don't need to
agree.
be cutting any of these
Right.
either.
Well, and people are scared to sharpen their knives because they don't want to, cut their fingers but if your knife is not sharp, it's almost more dangerous.
Oh,
because
absolutely.
It's harder to chop what you need to. So
That's right.
I'm not even sure what brand mine is. There's 2 brands that I kind of like, but it's my largest one.
Yeah. You use it a lot.
I use it to chop just about everything. Yeah. Yep. So, and then I do have to warn, my husband has to warn me when he sharpens it, because sometimes he'll go in the kitchen and sharpen it and not tell me. And I have cut myself with it before because I didn't know he sharpened it. But yeah, I would say that.
Okay.
That probably is my best.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, because you probably can't get any photo or video equipment for less than $100. Like maybe your little screen, maybe.
Yeah, maybe the little pop filter here.
Maybe
Yeah.
just this base would be $100.
Yeah.
Okay, so Ashley, and these are really fun questions to get to know people. What failure or an apparent failure actually really set you up for a lot of success looking back in the past?
Gosh, our son is a freshman in college now. So I think a lot about those years and what I did not do so well. I think probably one of the failures, that hit me the hardest was I did not pass an architecture class that I thought I did really well in.
wow.
It turned out that only one person out of the, 12 or 15 of us that were in that class passed it. And so I was not heartbroken alone. So that was good. But that was really a hard one for me because I worked hard. I thought our group did a great job on our project.
Yeah.
And the one person that did pass was in my group. So I thought, why did he pass and the rest of us didn't?
Right.
But it just taught me a lot about just people's expectations are not always what they seem. Sometimes people's expectations are higher than I think. They expect more of me than they should. Not that I can't meet high expectations,
Sure.
but you just have to really think about who you're working with, what their expectations are, and are they real? And is it someone that maybe I shouldn't be working with, or I could find someone else that could help them better?
Right. A better fit.
And so that's been hard for me, but it's also helped me really see there are lots of realtors out there. There are lots of people out there that do this work, and I am not the best fit for everyone.
Right.
And
Nor
so,
do you want every client.
Right.
Yes.
I don't want every single one. So that's been, I truly recently have had a hard client or two. And it's just, I think that has helped me work through that.
Yeah. To not take that personally.
Mhm.
That-
Right.
Yep.
Yes.
The expectations
Yes.
part.
Mhm. Yep.
And setting your clients up for the proper expectations. That's always,
Right. Yes.
hitting that off,
Here's what
at the
I
bat.
can do for you. And if this isn't okay, then I can help
That's
you find
right.
someone that
And
will.
you've got 2,400 other options.
Right.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's right.
Yes.
Okay. I like that.
Mhm.
All righty. So real quick, we are going to get into a couple of speed round fun questions. And this is where we get to know a little bit more about
These are fun.
You're laughing. So the question is for both of you, and you can answer rapid fire however you would like. And if you want to give
Okay.
a justification or a why, like that's fine too. That gives us some more insight. So would you rather be covered in fur or scales?
Scales.
Fur.
Okay. What would you be if you were covered in scales?
I like the water
Okay.
and the beach.
Yep. That
Of
makes
course, I guess
sense.
if I have scales, I'm not going to be on the beach, but I like the water.
I feel like lizards can like chill.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
I'm deathly afraid of the ocean. Being stranded in the ocean by myself. Don't want scales. Don't want to be on it or in it.
Okay. All right. You want to be like a fluffy dog.
I
Okay.
hate being cold too. So
Yes.
I just want to be covered in enough fur to be warm.
Yes.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. You could be a husky, and then you would enjoy lying in the snow.
That would be great.
Okay. All right. Would you rather go to jail for a year or lose a year out of your life?
Oh, gosh.
Jail.
I think jail.
Yeah.
I think
I would
so.
say jail too.
I mean, they do your laundry. They feed you.
well, I feel
right.
like I would read a ton of books. I mean, after I got over being upset or depressed or whatever that might be, like I feel like I would read. You'd eat really well.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd get very healthy. You would do, like be amazing at pull-ups and push-ups.
There are a lot of positives in prison.
Yeah.
I did some prison ministry a few years ago
Yeah.
for a couple of years. And yeah, there are a lot of perks
Okay.
with being there.
But it is nice
There are
to
a
just
lot of-
leave when you want to also.
Right. There are a lot of bad things too. Don't get me wrong.
There are.
But yeah,
There can be some
if
dangerous.
it's shave some time off my life or jail,
Yeah.
take jail.
Yeah, you got to make the most of it.
That's right.
Like Nelson Mandela. Like it's,
Yeah.
it's
There you go.
all about your perspective. Okay. All
That's right.
Would you rather spend the rest of your life on a sailboat or a RV as your home? I think we already know your answer.
RV.
Yep.
Yeah.
RV. We threaten our kids with it. We tell them we're
Okay.
going to sell everything we have and buy an RV and just show up in their driveways. And it scares them to death. It's funny.
Okay. All right. So despite loving like the beach and the water, you
Yeah.
still choose the RV.
Well, I'd probably drive the RV down there.
yeah.
Drive
Just
it
like
to
go
the beach.
all the way around.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Would you rather be able to go back in time or be able to tell the future?
Go back in time.
Okay.
Yeah. Me too.
Okay. That was fast.
Because you
I
can
was-
change your future by going back
yeah,
in time.
that's true.
Oh, yeah.
Mm.
I just want to talk
Yeah.
to people that are not here anymore.
Oh yeah.
I think.
Yeah. That's okay. We'll
Yeah.
we'll talk to them again in
Yeah.
the future
Yeah.
at some point. Cats or dogs?
Dogs.
Do you have dogs?
Yes.
Okay. What dogs do you have?
That's a funny story as
I
well.
I know
that
that
I
was
don't
like a
think we have
hesitant
time
yet.
for, but
Well, we have a couple minutes. Let's hear it.
We have a COVID dog, basically. I'm not a dog lover. We had a dog growing up.
Okay.
it
her
did
name-
not like Ashley.
It didn't. Her name was Pretzel. She loved Troy.
She was a little miniature schnauzer.
Okay.
She
So
loved
she was like
Troy
very
and not
cranky.
me. She wasn't really cranky, but she just didn't. like me.
Okay.
And so I'm not really a dog lover. I'm not a dog hater. I just am not a dog lover.
Okay.
And my kids and my husband have always wanted one. And so during COVID, he was like, and I also have allergies. So it had to be a certain kind, which I'd never bothered to research because I'm not a dog lover.
Okay.
But my husband has done all this research and figured it out. And
Where
during
there's
COVID,
a will, there's a way.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So during COVID, he was like, what about this one? And I was like, oh, maybe. And all I had to say was maybe. Oh,
because it wasn't a no.
Dog. No, it wasn't a no.
Again, you got to be very careful with your words.
Yes.
So, what kind of dog is like hypoallergenic?
He's a Labradoodle, but he's a certain. There's like a number, and I don't even know.
Okay,
but
they're very genetically modified organisms.
Yes, and so he doesn't shed.
He's a horse,
but he's
huge.
also 80. He's just over 80 pounds. He got a lot bigger than we anticipated, but. He's sweet.
Okay.
I tell him all the time, I love you, darn it.
Dang it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, since I didn't know that this last question with that you were in the photography, similar little industries here. What would you rather, captions or sound?
Sound.
Definitely sound. Okay. We do captions, and if you're not doing captions for Reels on YouTube and your other social media, you need to be doing it.
Ugh.
Because
we do.
Yeah,
I like them.
Because people are scrolling and they're scrolling during a business meeting and they don't have their sound on. They're reading captions. So if you want them to stay on your video, got to use captions. Unfortunately.
And we know where to go to get that, don't we?
That's right.
Well, thank you guys. That is a wrap on our podcast. So Ashley Sears with Berkshire Hathaway PenFed and Troy Trussell of Trussell Media. I appreciate you both for taking the time to be here. Yeah. Make sure you subscribe here to our YouTube channel for the Wichita Real Producers and the Beyond the Pages podcast. And we'll see you next time.
See ya.